How's it going, YouTube? Cody Bernardi here with another YouTube video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about APIs. You might have heard of that term before, you might not know exactly what it is, and honestly, I'm not too entirely sure. I'm just kidding. I know what it is. I don't make programs, so I don't deal with them on a daily basis. So there might be some things in here, honestly, that I might miss that a person that does this on a daily basis might be able to speak upon. I have found them to be pretty useful when trying to pull just raw data. So what is APIs? It is application programmable interface. Double check that I got that right. Application programming interface. And basically, to put it into layman's terms, let's say you go onto twitter.com and you do a search for Cody Bernardi. You'll get everything that Twitter has of my name, including all of its fonts, all of its logos, people's profile logos, all that stuff that you can interact with. An API basically does the same exact thing, but just the text, and the text comes back usually in a structured format, so you're able to parse through that information. So let's say you were to go on to Shodan. We'll get into an example with Shodan. You go into Shodan, you make a query, and you get all of these IP addresses that match that query. Easiest way to just get those IP addresses and pull them out is with an API, or you can download in a CSV if you want to, but the easiest way is to pull that information from an API and search and filter out using that specific pattern that Shodan responds with. Now, APIs, there are different kinds, I believe. The one I'm going to be working with are called RESTful APIs. Don't ask what that means. I'm, again, the last person that can explain that to you. But there's basically only a couple kind of methods that you'll end up doing. You'll be doing GET requests, so you're getting information, and POST requests, so you're posting information. So let's build a hypothetical program that I want to do, and trust me, we'll get it onto the screen and show you some examples. So a good use case for APIs. For building a program. Let's say that I want to build a bot that tweets out anytime there is a CVSS 9.0 and above. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to plan things out a little bit, get the resources that you need, and find programs out there that offer an API. So let's say you find the API for gathering CVEs, and all the data that it brings back is what you need. Next, you need to find an API, specifically in this case to Twitter, where you can post that information. So what you do is, let's say you run this every single day, once a day. So you set up a cron task. That's what it's called, cron job, cron tab. It's called all sorts of things. I've heard all sorts of them, but it's a cron job. Basically, it just runs a script at a certain time, and you can specify whenever that runs. So let's say you do this at midnight every single day. So at midnight, you do a GET request, or a GET request from the CVE database. Like, hey, what is the latest that you have? So you say, I want to download what the latest stuff you have. You download it. There are ways where you can avoid downloading the entire database and just downloading what's new to the database, but I digress. So you download that data, and then your program can parse through things that match a certain parameter. So in this case, CVSS. So you can build something in Python that can check if CVSS whatever is equal or greater than 9.0, then post whatever to Twitter's API, then it'll send a tweet out. So I'm getting too deep in the weeds. That's just a good example. If you want to give that a stab at home, let me know, post it down below, and I'll share it on my next, or whenever the first person posts it, I'll share it in my next video and give it a demo. So anyways, let's get onto my screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some stuff that we can do. So like I said, you can, whatever program you want to build, just do a search, whatever it is, API on Google, or whatever you search on. So I know this is a bad example, so I'm not going to use it. Twitter API, they have an API. Instagram probably has an API. So there are ways around that. I'll show you. They might not have a publicly available API or a difficult to use API, and I'll show you how to, I guess, build requests that you want to use using inspect element. So Before we get in, I just want to say that there is a program out there called Postman, which I will show you right here. So Postman is phenomenal when interacting with APIs. The reason in my use case, is you can have things called collections, which you see on the side over here. Basically, all Postman is just a interface for doing put, post, get, request. It's just an API interface. So it makes things super easy. You can export, responses that you get. But anyways, the main thing over here is that you have these different collections. So I have a collection for gray noise. I have a collection for Shodan, bad packets, tax lien stuff. I mean, you can have all sorts of these different collections. So in this case, like for gray noise, I click here and then I have all of these different parameters that I can use to build out a request. So if I want to hop off gray noise real quick, I could go to Shodan and do everything on Shodan. If I want to hop off Shodan and pull some tax lien data from Knox County, I could do that right here. I don't have anything saved, but you get the point. So we're going to be focusing on Shodan on Postman, but I just wanted to say Postman is going to be a lifesaver and is going to make this whole process of learning APIs significantly easier. Okay, so Shodan has a collection. So collection, in this case, the Shodan collection is all the different things you could do on Shodan's API. And it just makes things so much streamlined. So there is actually a GitHub link or a GitHub repo that you can go through. It talks about importing the collection, setting up environment variables and stuff like that, importing your API key and such like that. There's tons of documents online on how to set all of that up specific to Postman, so I'm not going to get into that in this video, but basically this is what it is. So we have right here a simple host search. If you have an enterprise API, you could set up notifiers, network alerts, bulk data downloads, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and do a simple search on Shodan. So we're going to search state, Wyoming, country, US, and hit search and see what Shodan has. Okay, so that's what Shodan has, and typically you would come through here and review all that stuff. You know, that's the way most people use Shodan. Now let's use Postman to do something like that. So we're going to do the same exact search up here, and we're just going to get that in Postman. So we're going to do a host search, and then keep in mind right here, this API key thing right there, that is a variable. So in this case, it's being used all across this collection. So you can see it everywhere in here. Basically, you don't have to enter it in every time. And for those that don't know, your API key on Shodan is right here. So if you click on that, it'll give you this string of text. That's your API key, and that's pretty much a password to your account. So keep that super secure. So anyways, so we're going to take this exact search that we did right there and plug it into query. Hit send. And we got this the exact stuff right here. Now, I think it might be rate limited on their API, so don't quote me on that. But basically what you could do from here is save this response to a file and then save it as a JSON file. So .json, yes. So now what you could do with that JSON file, if you wanted to analyze this further, there's a couple things you could do here. So in my use case, working in vulnerability management, I'd take this data, throw it into something like Tableau, and actually visualize the data itself. It's a little different than this, like this, in the fact that you can do things like all of the ports in Wyoming, and you could put it into like a pie chart, or you could do like the top, vulnerable systems in Wyoming, right? Things like that. You can do whatever you want in Tableau. We'll import this data into Tableau and give you an example of what you can do with that. Public Tableau is free, but just keep in mind the data that you put in there is going to be publicly viewable. So that's actually probably a good place on another video on doing OSINT on companies, because I'm sure some cheap companies have pulled sensitive data and uploaded it to public Tableau. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so now that we have saved this response from Shodan, we're going to just go ahead and take a look in what that looks like in Sublime. So we will go ahead and open up the file in Sublime, and it's going to look kind of ugly. You'll want to go to package control and install package, and I think it's called like JSON something. JSON's like, or a pretty JSON. Yeah, well, I mean, I have it installed already, but it's called like pretty JSON, something like that. And all you will have to do with this data is Control A. You might not even have to do that. Control Alt J, and then it will put everything like it should in JSON format. And as you can see, what I talked about earlier, it sets things up so it has like its own variable, for lack of better terms. So in this case, we'll take a look at one real quick. So port. So right here, or let's do ASN. So ASN, let's view all of the ASNs, autonomous systems in Wyoming. So we'll hit Control C and then Control F. And this is where Sublime is really cool to use, because you can use regex, regular expressions, which I'll probably make a whole nother video on, because regex just is super nice. So we'll go ahead and paste that into there, and you can see it's highlighted. So what we want to do is do like a period and then star, and it's going to highlight everything after that. That's what we want. We want to have all of the ASNs. So we're going to hit find all on the bottom right. And then once we do that, we will just hit Control C and then plug that into its own file. So you can see that we do get some stuff in here like this. Let's go back here and change that up a little bit. So we'll do ASN, and then we'll do that period star. Find all, Control C, and then come back here, Control V, and it should do all of that. I don't know what all this pink stuff is. Apologies for that. And then what we can do from here is do a little cheaty trick. So Control A highlights all, Control Shift L, and then it highlights everything. And we bring it over to here. And those are all of the autonomous systems in Wyoming. Now what we could do is Control A, and then permute lines unique. So there's only 23 autonomous systems in Wyoming. That's just like an example. Okay, I know I'm going deep down the rabbit hole. I apologize. So anyways, let's get back. And I honestly will let you guys do your own poking around at this Shodan collection. I'll paste everything down in the description, play with it, see what you can do with it. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that you can capture API traffic using Inspect tool. And this is really helpful, especially if like a website doesn't have an API, but you still want to automate their data. Now, this could be illegal, so don't do this. So this is how to do it. Okay, so let's go to usaspending.gov. So this is where you can view all of the government contracts the U.S. federal government does. So let's do a simple search. And for me personally, I own a security company, so this is how I did market research on organizations that need CMMC certifications. So let's go ahead and just do a simple search real quick. Let's do penetration testing, something like that. Hit submit, gather your data, and you get all of this information. 279 contracts that say penetration testing. Nothing crazy there. So I'll show you what to do or how to get this information in an API. So you'll hit inspect element, go to network, sorry, and then just hit reload. And then you could see right here what I talked about earlier, these different methods. So you see most of them are going to be get requests, post. There's other ones like put, delete, options, all that stuff. But what we want to focus on is the one that's actually making the call to wherever USA Spending gathers their information and just get that raw text. So you can see right here that there are URL or a URL for API, usaspending.gov. So let's go ahead and filter this way. So API USA, you can see we got some stuff right here. So we have a couple in here that we should play around with, test out. So transferred, we'll go ahead and take a look at a couple of these just by the size that was transferred over. So we'll do, let's do, I guess this top one. We'll see what happens. So what we're going to do is get this specific request right here, right click, copy, and then copy curl POSIX. So this one right here. What you can do is actually throw this into Linux, paste it in there, and look at that. You get all sorts of stuff. Now that's ugly, and you can actually prettify this a little bit. There is a thing you can install on Linux. So if you just do sudo or just apt, not pat, apt install JQ, what you'll be able to do is this, and then do that same thing, pipe JQ. Boom! Look at that right there. So it gives us this information. Now it doesn't really give us much more than just this. So let's try that other one out. So let's try the third one, POSIX. Boom! There we go. So now we got all of the stuff that we wanted. So you got to play around with it a little bit, but we got what we wanted. So for this example, spending by award. And right here, the internal ID, the award ID, the recipient name, the start date, the end date, the award amount, penetration testing services. I mean, you could try that on different websites and see what happens, you know? And play around with it. Now, what you could do with that in Postman, go to import, and then you go to raw text and paste that exact, don't want that. Go here, copy, POSIX, paste it into here, continue, import, and hit send. What? Now, let's go ahead and import this data into Tableau. My favorite thing. So Tableau public, you just download it. And we're just going to do an import by JSON file. And we're going to import the response.json. And we're going to import the matches. And let's see. What else do we want in here? We don't need favicon. We'll do location. We'll grab that. SSH, don't really care about. Subject, no, don't care. Ooh, Volms. I'm not saying that we're supposed to be viewing this info, not as enterprise customers, because I'm not anymore. RIP. But we can actually do this. We might crash this, so let's go ahead and pause this. So yeah, it most certainly did take a crap. So let's try this again. So we will go and gather data, and I'm going to do Gray Noise because I love this product a lot. Not paid by them or anything, but I just want to show you a cool way to get this data into a visualization. So Gray Noise has a community API, so y'all can actually check that out. I'll put a link to it down below. You can play around with it. Gray Noise is basically just a they hate when I say it. I know they do. A honeypotting service. I know, pinch me, but they provide data of internet scans, classifies it if it's benign, malicious, or if it's unknown, you could search up CVEs and all that cool stuff. So let's go ahead and do a search on CVE 2021-26855, which is the latest Exchange vulnerability. And this is the query that I have right up here. So put a link to it down below, hit send, and we will get all of Gray Noise's lovely data. And we will export that to a JSON file, then import it into Tableau. And we will not crash Tableau and OBS and Postman and Audacity. Okay, so save response, save to a file. .json. Okay, then we will go to Tableau public, and you'll create new. So I'll just show you all what that looks like real quick. So we'll go to new, right later, data source, JSON file, and then you select your JSON file. So now that we got that, let's go ahead and take a look and see what, I guess, the amount of traffic that is being generated for this particular vulnerability compared to by classification: malicious, benign, and unknown. So we have this sheet right here. So we have the data source all the way over here. Now we have this sheet. So we could do a couple things. We're going to make a pie chart, but you could do a few other things like a line chart, map, which would be kind of cool. We could play around with map. We'll try that later. So we'll do pie chart. Okay, so now we have the data from Gray Noise right over here. So we have the actor, bot, classification, IP, last seen, all that stuff. We're going to stick to classification. So we'll do classification, and we will make that the color, and then the response.json count. We'll put that into size. And right there, if I can figure out how to zoom in, this is like one of those things I feel so stupid, like I know how to do this. And we can label them too. It's been a minute. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'll figure it out. There we go. And then we could do annotate, mark label, always show, and then I want to select all. Annotate. Is it annotate? Anyways, it has the legend up there. So we have 1,680 IP addresses that have been scanning the internet that Gray Noise has picked up with a classification of unknown. We have 139 IP addresses that have been scanning the internet that are benign, and a second majority are malicious. And what you can do with this data is you can actually click on it, and then you can go to, I think it is view data. So you click on the part that you want to view data. Let's get this, view data, and then full data. And it gives you all of that information right there. So first seen, last seen, IP address, all that fun stuff. There you go. And that is it. Thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button with the bell notification enabled. Apologies, I am wearing a different shirt. I wear my stupid glasses right now, but the lack of me knowing how to use OBS was driving me crazy while editing that video. I mean, the very first frame was just, I knew it was going to be bad. But anyways, if you want more OSINT content, obviously I'll try to make more as I learn more OSINT stuff. It's kind of hard to make videos when you feel like you've like peaked out, but you never know. And also I have a Discord, so if you haven't joined that already, we talk pretty much everything OSINT. I talk security stuff in there as well. Because like I said millions of times on this channel, that's what I do full time. I am a senior security engineer, so I focus on security stuff. I don't really do OSINT that much. Anyways, outside of that, some great news. DEF CON is happening IRL this year, so I will be attending. So I'm hoping to sponsor someone to go this year. I think what I can at least promise I can do this year is buy someone's ticket. So I'll pay for someone's ticket. However that random person wants to handle that. If I just give you cash in Vegas, I don't know. I mean, whatever you want, I'll pay for someone's DEF CON ticket this year. And maybe, just maybe, cross your fingers, if I get a video sponsor here fairly soon, which could very well happen, maybe I can pay for your whole experience. Dude, these Gunnars, man. I feel like you get one fingerprint on them. It just... I don't know if y'all can see that. I've had Gunnars before. And the fingerprints, man... Whew! Wow, that is. Anyways. Yeah, that is it. Y'all take care. Goodbye.
You do believe that you are all